There aren't too many things as satisfying as a Vandal one-tap headshot. The tough part is being able to hit those shots. With a slower firing rate than the Phantom, players who use the Vandal need to place more emphasis on precision. Every missed shot will be punishing, especially if the enemy has a faster firing Phantom, or even worse, an operator that will absolutely decimate you if you miss. There are also specific playstyles that can be implemented with the Vandal. So in today's video, we're going through the 5 best Vandal users in Valorant and how you can play like them so you too can land those sweet, juicy headshots. Well, we can't really talk about the Vandal without talking about the headshot machine, Scream. Arguably one of the best aimers in the game right now, the Vandal is the optimal weapon of choice for him as his first shot accuracy is just so insane. Scream primarily plays duelists, especially Reyna and Jett, who both are perfect for taking advantage of the Vandal. With these two agents, you can get into aggressive off angles and have an easy escape route after getting a pick. Particularly, Scream's Vandal really shines with Reyna as she doesn't have as much of a closer like Jett does. This results in her being in more long range duels with this agent. With Reyna, Scream really loves to go for surprise peeks while being prepared to dismiss immediately following. In this specific clip, he goes for a surprise peek down cat and he gets the quick pick before dismissing back to safely. What's also important to note though is that Scream really goes for these sorts of peeks without cover. His Astra was close by looking down a link to make sure no one could push from there and pick off Scream during his push. As such, Scream felt safe pushing deep and going for a kill on cat. For a more exaggerated manner, in this clip we have Scream going for an aggressive off angle on cat. He completely surprises the enemy and dismisses off to safety like he did earlier. This time he has a teammate hiding in the corner, which most players would not expect after already seeing a player at cat. This allows Link to grab the second frag, and with attention focused to him, it allows Scream to go back in to help Link with the third frag. Many players consider Reyna to be an agent where you go in on your own and make these big individual plays, but Scream utilizes her in a more team-oriented manner to increase the odds of snagging those same frags. Now getting back specifically with the Vandal itself, we said Scream is the headshot machine, and despite him switching games from CSGO to Valorant, we are still talking about his one-taps. Scream has become much more of a sprayer since his transition, however he will demonstrate his one-taps if the range and ammo are appropriate for it. The Vandal has 25 bullets, 5 less than the Phantom, which makes some players try to reload early for fear that they run out of ammo during a duel. Most of the time this reload is unnecessary and ill-timed when enemies are already charging at you. Instead of reloading in these situations, you want to go for quality shots, aka tap shooting. This is exactly what Scream does to sadly win one of the only rounds that his team gets against Ascend. He bursts off the first 2 players and wastes a lot of shots due to C-nades jiggling before he goes down. This leaves him with 6 bullets. With 2 players charging him at once, there's not really much time to reload, so he decides to tap shoot. By really focusing on making each bullet count and land, he snags those 2 clips with his remaining clip. Particularly at these mid to long ranges, tap firing can be perfect for helping control the recoil of the Vandal and assists with hitting those one-tap kills when the ammo is low. Next up we got Chronicle. Now this player wasn't really one of the stars on Gambit in tournaments, but he really proved himself in Valorant Champions. This guy was landing Vandal headshots like it was no one's business. Particularly, Chronicle does an amazing job at isolating players for one-on-one duels. The spray transfer for the Vandal is not optimal compared to the Phantom, so you want to always be going for one-on-one situations. Chronicle executes this perfectly for what is arguably the play of the tournament. He's able to completely wipe out crew by peeking one player at a time. He doesn't go for any wide swings, knowing that will risk him peeking into multiple players. He jiggle peeks and only commits with a short peek when the enemy is in sight. He repeats this and gets 4 one-on-one duels before hitting an inhuman flick shot onto the other player on site. Now Chronicle isn't a duelist player like Scream. Rather, he tends to play more initiators and sentinels that are more passive. This also works well with the Vandal as this typically sets the player up for longer range duels where the one-tap headshot shows its power versus the decreased headshot damage you get from the Phantom. With these agents, Chronicle tends to be passive on sites or lurking through onto another site or choke point. He repeatedly does this in multiple rounds during Valorant Champions to give his team an advantage. Now it's important to note he primarily does this when he's on Sova or Sky. The reason being is that these agents have abilities that can clear out areas of the map, thus assuring that it's safe to go for these lurk plays. Chronicle quickly takes up that space so that if the enemy decides to rotate, he'll be there to snag that long range headshot with the Vandal. He maintains the range in case he goes up against the Phantom to put him in a favorable duel. We'll get into our third Vandal player in just a moment. If you want to really take things to the next level and climb up to Radiant, then you want to check out our website at SkillCapped.com. On our website, we have multiple comprehensive courses and guides on various aspects of the game. If you want to learn more tips on how to master the Vandal, we got you covered. Or perhaps you want to truly master a certain agent that you're currently struggling with, we got that covered as well, and so much more. We guarantee you'll see significant improvements quickly, so if you're interested in taking your game to the next level, the link will be provided in the description below. Our third player has really surprised us at Valorant Champions and is none other than Kesnet from Crew. Like Scream, Kesnet tends to play duelist and go for those aggressive plays. We've seen a fair amount of one-tapping with the Vandal from Kesnet, but what he really shines in is burst firing. Like we mentioned earlier, quality trumps quantity with the Vandal. You don't have as many bullets as the Phantom, so you want to make the bullets count. Rather than rushing to spray an enemy as quick as you can react, Kesnet takes that extra split second to adjust his aim prior to firing. It's difficult to notice this in close range fights because it's so fast, but it's more apparent the further his enemies are from him. In particular, we see this in this clip featuring the only 6k in the entire tournament. Most apparently, we see this adjustment in his first kill against Jett. He taps one bullet and realizes that he needs to make a quick change before firing due to the updraft and movement from Jett. This prevents him from whipping and lets him accurately aim for the first kill. From there, he really takes his time bursting the remaining players. He doesn't rush and try to go for those transfer sprays, rather he lines up his aim and bursts down a player one at a time. The accuracy aspect of bursting is really highlighted here as Kesnet does miss a few of his bursts. By stopping his fire at that point, he is able to adjust his aim but also allow the Vandal recoil to reset. This ensures that he does not miss the second burst. At the end, he is really feeling it and goes for the one taps, but it's the precise and careful burst firing at the start that we wanted to highlight. When done properly, it really lets the Vandal accuracy shine while giving a bit of leeway in case you don't hit that first bullet. Coming up next, we can't talk about the Vandal without mentioning the one and only Asuna from 100 Thieves. Asuna is one of the flashiest players on today's list, and one of the main reasons for this is his high sensitivity. Asuna plays at a DPI of 1400, quite high compared to most players who are between 400 to 800. That along with a sensitivity of 0.295, if we multiply that with his DPI, we get an eDPI of 413. Not the highest sensitivity we've seen, but it's up there. As a duelist, this higher sense helps him to quickly and effectively flick between choke points looking for kills. This type of aim really makes the Vandal look absolutely cracked with how he traces his targets at a moment's notice. Along with his flicks, one quality of Asuna that really helps him dominate with the Vandal is his off angles. He picks positions that, while they aren't the most surprising per se, they're positions that enemies aren't expecting in a given moment. For example, in this clip we see Asuna showing off those flicks with the initial 2 kills with the help of his high sense. For the third frag, Asuna climbs up to the top of containers and gets an off angle down into screens. Again, it's not a totally unexpected place for Asuna to be in. The fact that the Viper wall was up on screens made it harder for enemies to spot out Asuna, making it a fantastic position for him to pick a player off. To really emphasize these surprise plays, we have Asuna all over the place on Icebox. The first kill here is pretty standard, a basic peek down B, but from there we have the enemy Reyna in close quarters and Asuna decides to go up containers and peek out from one of the windows. Again, this is a position that defenders will play, but the fact that no one peeked there initially made it seem unlikely that a player would be there. Well, that logic doesn't work against Asuna. He makes that exact move and wipes the floor against Thief. If you want to use the Vandal like Asuna, really think about what the enemy expects you to be in and find those gaps in areas that could surprise them. Last but not least, we have Durka. While Fnatic didn't perform as well as some fans were hoping, Durka still had an outstanding performance through the year and in VCT Champions. A quality of Durka that makes him have the advantage when using the Vandal is also his positioning. In most cases, you'll rarely see Durka peeking the same area from the same position twice in a row. More often than not, Durka will always reposition himself after peeking. Even when Durka doesn't finish an enemy off from the first peek, he will not attempt to peek again from the same position, as that would just make the fight more of a 50-50 since both players know where the other is. Rather, when possible, Durka will seek a different angle to peek again, thus forcing the enemy to have to guess where he's going to strike next. In this clip, we have Durka going for a peek at screens and he immediately backs away from that position after missing those shots. From there, he repositions down into maze and awaits his prey. With Viper's utility up, he predicts that there's probably going to be a player that peeks to check if anyone's fallen to her abilities. As a result, he snags the kill onto Viper and repositions again into the back of maze to challenge the last player. He also doesn't peek out immediately, making the enemy have to wildly guess which side of maze Durka will pop out from. This gives him the edge and he wins the final 1 vs 1 duel. In more extreme cases, Durka will really take advantage of duelist abilities to reposition himself into greater aggressive angles. He starts out from yellow and slowly inches himself forward towards snow with every kill that he gets. He even dashes into the site at the end to get into a better position to eliminate the remaining player. These are two completely different scenarios, but they use the same concept of repositioning that allows Durka to always be in surprise positions. The enemy is almost never ready for these plays, while Durka has his crosshair already lined up and ready to pop ahead with the Vandal. That's all we have for today's video. If you haven't started using these pro moves with the Vandal, give them a shot and let us know how it turns out. We guarantee you'll find your headshot percentage and kills skyrocketing with this menacing weapon. As always, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel down below to help support us. I'm Dr. Zora, we here at SkillCapped want to thank you all for watching and we'll catch you in the next one.